Araxxor is a new Slayer boss coming to old school RuneScape. I say new like that because Araxxor already exists within RuneScape 3 in pretty much the same format and location as its newer variant. But Jagex have confirmed that this will not just be a like-for-like backport from RuneScape 3. Now, with Araxxor's release, of course, comes a few new unique items. These have undergone some changes and rebalancing since their original pitches, so in this video, I'm going to unpack everything you need to know ahead of its release. Araxxor is located in the Mauritania Spider Cave just northeast of Darkmere. This cave previously required the knight at the theatre quest to enter, but with the release of the new boss, you'll be able to gain access to it with just the Priest in Peril quest completed. Now, as Araxxor is a Slayer boss, you'll need a specific Araxxite Slayer task to fight it, obtainable from level 92 Slayer onwards, and unfortunately, a Spider task will not suffice for being able to access this boss. Not much has been revealed about the actual fight itself, and Jagex want to keep their cards close to their chest on this one. But we do know that it'll be a melee-oriented fight, with Anti-Venom being an absolute must-have here, and in terms of difficulty, you'll be able to choose how you approach this fight, with two different strategies, resulting in two different levels of difficulty and speed. You'll be able to choose whether you want to deal with Araxxor's minions before they hatch, resulting in a slower but safer fight, or going straight for the Spider Queen and dealing with the hatchlings, resulting in a faster but more intense encounter. How much this fight will differ from the RuneScape 3 version is yet to be revealed, so with that said, let's move on to the good stuff, the rewards. First up, the Aranea Boots. Now, the stats on these things don't look all too impressive at a first glance, but they're actually incredibly useful for a number of reasons. First of all, there's no defense requirement to wear the Aranea Boots, meaning lower level accounts and unique account builds can benefit from the same strength bonus that Dragon Boots give without the defense levels. This puts them on the same punching level as spiked manacles for those one defense builds, but arguably a much higher requirement to get them. The boots also boast similar ranged attack stats to other mid-game ranged options, and the same magic attack bonus as Infinity Boots. All of that, topped with no negative attack stats, make these boots a really strong option for raids, PvP, and other scenarios where you'll want to bring multiple attack styles. Another pretty cool and niche feature of the boots is that they grant you occasional immunity to web-based special attacks. Notable bosses that have these include Verzik in the Theatre of Blood, Spindle and Venenatus, and Sorachnus. Moving on, another reward I think is bound to shake up some gear meta setups is the Noxious Halberd. Yes, finally, a decent looking halberd that may be a good all-rounder. It requires 82 attack to wield, and the stats on this thing are pretty wild. A strength bonus as high as an Elder Maul and a slash bonus rivaling that of the Soul Reaper axe. This thing is a heavy hitter with the added bonus of only having a 5-tick attack speed, not to mention the extra tile of range that all halberds traditionally have. It'll be interesting to see where this weapon sits within the RuneScape meta and within the typical gear progression of an account. Because given the beefy stats of the halberd, it could be seen as an interim best-in-slot slash weapon, as it's only really outclassed by weapons and gear that come much later in the game. There is another interesting aspect to this weapon, and that is its special attack. The halberd's special attack will not only cure poison, but also buff your next attack's minimum hit by the amount of poison damage that you are about to take. The old school team give an example here of how this would work. So if your next poison damage was for 16 and you used the special attack, your next successful hit would be rolled between 16 and your max. Now this is where it gets pretty interesting, because it only affects your minimum hit. So theoretically, with the only requirement for this weapon being 82 attack, you could wield it with a strength level of 1. And what would happen if you used the special attack then? Would it roll between 16 and your maximum hit, even if your maximum hit was below 16? Would the spaghetti code of the RuneScape Matrix be able to handle such a complication? I really don't know, but I do think overall it's a pretty underwhelming special attack with very few places it would be useful. The passive effect of the halberd also has a 33% chance to venom your target on hit. That's increased to 50% when using a Serpentine Visage, so that's great. But I think we all know that there are very few fights where you get a chance to stack a decent amount of venom damage on a target. What's even more unfortunate with this is that some of the bosses around the game that are notoriously weak to slash are also immune to venom. So there's that, and I'm not sure if that's an oversight or just something Jagex wanted to sprinkle on to sweeten the deal. The last big unique item here will be an untradeable item used to upgrade the Amulet of Torture, and this will create the Amulet of Rancor. This is really just a boosted torture with the attack and strength bonuses going up, really cementing its position as the new best in slot for melee. It will require 86 crafting to put together, however the completed amulet will be tradable on the Grand Exchange, meaning that Iron Men will have to craft it themselves, but luckily with a crafting level lower than the Amulet of Torture, and any other account will just be able to buy it as usual. Now, when we look at the current state of the old school RuneScape melee meta, the Amulet of Blood Fury has been reigning supreme for a very long time now. It boasts really good all-round stats while being able to heal you within combat. So how does this stack up against the new amulet, and will the new amulet take the spot as the quote-unquote best in slot melee amulet? Personally, I don't think it will. If you're making very few mistakes in high level PVM, then you may opt for this new amulet to boost your DPS even further, but otherwise, the Blood Fury is just the perfect all-rounder. Now, there are some other notable drops from Araxxor, including some teleport scrolls to get there faster, a new Venom Gland which you can either eat to deal 4 damage to yourself whilst curing Venom and providing a brief 20-second window of Venom immunity, or it can be used to create the all-new extended Anti-Venom Plus potion. This will give 6 minutes of Venom immunity per dose as opposed to its previous 3 minutes, so a big upgrade. Lastly, the boss will drop the Araxxor Hird, which can be used to fashion a new variant of the Slayer Helmet appearance. A jar of Venom will also drop for your player and house display, and the boss will also have a pet drop, which they've tentatively named either Araxito or Arancini, which is genius. Araxxor launches on August the 28th, so if you're planning on doing it, now is the time to start saving up some Slayer points, guys. Do not leave that to the last minute. And a big question for you all as well. What order would you rank these uniques at, with 1 being the highest and 3 being the lowest? Here is what I've gone for, but I'm interested to see what you all think. Drop your tier list of these new unique drops in the comments below. And if you've watched this far, then congratulations, you've just bagged yourself a 5% RNG boost, and you can boost that by another 5% by simply liking the video and consider subscribing if you haven't already, guys. I really appreciate the support either way, as always. So thank you all very much, and I'll see you all next time.